While everyone's chasing trends and quick cash, these machines quietly generate steady profits year after year. Most people don't even realize such opportunities exist. They don't rely on hype, flashy marketing, or constant reinvention. Instead, they produce simple, useful products people always need. No big teams, no massive investments, just consistent, predictable results. If you've got the drive to build something sustainable, this could be your game changer. Let's dive in. Run a hand along a stair rail? Those repeating curves didn't come from a faraway mega factory. In shop, a CNC wood lathe carves them, one blank at a time. A profile from the library, a maple or oak square on the centers, hood down, start, and the cutter sings the same shape every pass. By the time coffee cools, a fresh baluster is on the rack. Work falls into 3 buckets: boxes of stair spindles for contractors, sets of 4 table legs for furniture makers, and one-off replacements when an antique set is missing a twin. A light finishing pass leaves little sanding. A wipe of oil or a quick lacquer makes the grain jump. The quiet power here is repeatability. A digital file means the 50th leg matches the first. A broken heirloom gets copied by scanning and a test cut. Job changes are quick. Swap a tool, load a new file, keep chips moving to the dust collector. The day starts with a smell. If it's orange, the week will be busy. If it's cherry, schools are ordering. A candy line sits in the corner like a quiet coworker, steady, predictable, never late, and my job is deciding what joy looks like today. Bears, rings, worms, hearts for February, little trees in December. Kids grab red first, office folks ask for sour, gyms weirdly love lemon. Ingredients are kind, sugar, flavors, a gelling base, and the math is friendly. Pennies into pieces, pieces into bags, bags into invoices. Gelatin brings that classic bounce. Pectin keeps vegans happy and holds shape in warm weather. A light sugar coat makes them squeak. A glossy finish makes them shine under store lights. The real craft lives in small choices. Keep the room dry so candies don't sweat. Rotate flavors so hands don't stain red all day. Print labels that say what matters. No nuts, vegan, real juice. Straps don't start as straps, they start as ribbon. The first time I stood beside a narrow fabric loom, it felt like watching a tiny road being built in real time. Cones of polyester or nylon feed a forest of guides, heddles lift and lower, and a row of needles beats a steady rhythm. Out front, a clean ribbon grows inch by inch. Plain weave for strength, herringbone for a softer hand, high-vis picks or reflective yarn when night gear is the goal. Patterns live in the yarn, not just printed on top. A single head turns out tens of feet per minute. A bank of heads stacks thousands of feet per shift. Importing webbing means big minimums and long waits. Weaving in-house means short runs in the exact color a bag maker needs this week. Ribbon in the morning becomes adjustable straps by afternoon. Yarn to spool, spool to strap, boxes out the door. To order the machines featured in our videos, visit easy-business.online and get a free consultation on any machine. Our experts will help you choose and deliver the equipment right to your door. The link is in the description and on the screen. Every tile, every brick wall, every patch of plaster needs mortar, and mortar starts with a dry mix. The line reminds me of a bakery for powder. Clean sand, cement, polymer additives go into a mixer. A screw conveyor feeds the packer. Bags roll out, sealed and ready. Change the recipe, and the product turns into tile adhesive, wall putty, self-leveling compound, or facade render. Compact, a simple line can be hopper, mixer, elevator, valve packer, yet it pushes several tons per shift with a small crew. Bulk sand and cement keep costs predictable. Branded 55 pounds bags lift the price. Local contractors become repeat customers fast because consistent mix beats job site guesswork. Seasonality helps too. Renovation peaks in spring and fall, so planning batches feels like planning a bakery schedule. Keep dust under control, calibrate the scales, track moisture and sand. That's 80% of the job. A quiet warehouse, pallets of clean white bags, and a phone that rings whenever a new building starts. Burned pan, stuck-on sauce, and the only thing that saves dinner is a scrubber. Stores move these in huge numbers, which made this machine click for me. A coil of stainless wire feeds in, the machine stretches it into a springy ribbon, then twists and knits it into a tight ball, almost like making a metal pom-pom. Cut, compress, quick weigh check, and a finished scrubber drops into the bin. Most retail packs use 0.7 ounces scrubbers, and the machine holds that weight so boxes stay consistent. Rust-resistant grades sell better to restaurants. Budget wire works for discount stores and dollar aisles. Orders repeat because kitchens burn pans every day. Color coding or a printed tag turns a plain ball into a brand. Small, sturdy, constant demand. The kind of quiet line that fills shelves week after week. Here's how I think about this line. 1 commodity in, 3 steady outlets out. Signs, packaging pads, and job site floor protection. The sheet itself is plastic cardboard. 2 thin skins with hollow ribs between, light to carry, stiff enough to hold shape, and happy outdoors. Sizes people ask for, most are 4 times 8 feet, with thickness around 1/8 or 3/16 of an inch for signs and protection boards. Color swaps are just a change of master batch. A UV package keeps outdoor prints from chalking. Printers want a corona-treated face, so ink grips, so that's part of setup. Sheets are bulky to ship, so local production wins on freight and speed. Custom cuts save printers time, and contractors love same-day protection boards when a remodel starts. By the afternoon, 1 pallet of pellets turns into neat stacks of usable panels. A cheap hose that kinks, splits, and showers the floor taught me the value of reinforcement. That's where this line shines. It builds a 3-layer hose that behaves like a tiny pressure tire. First comes a soft PVC inner tube, then a braided net of polyester yarn, then a PVC outer jacket. The braid locks the pipe against swelling, so pressure turns into steady flow instead of ballooning. The line looks complex but runs like a relay. Extruder forms the clear inner tube, the braider slips on a tight yarn lattice. A second extruder coats everything in a clean outer layer, then a cooling bath. Haul off, printer, and winder finish the coil. Diameter, wall thickness, and color change with a dye swap and recipe tweak. A colored stripe down the side doubles as branding and size code. Coils in 100-foot or 300-foot roll straight to hardware stores, farms, car washes, and construction crews. Offcuts get granulated back in, burst tests keep quality honest, and a simple product turns into dependable repeat business. I keep seeing cranes and new walls going up, and it always comes back to one simple thing: bricks. A brick machine looks almost too basic for the job it does. Think heavy waffle iron, but for clay sand plus a touch of cement go in, uniform bricks come out. I've run numbers for a small setup in a garage-sized space. 1,500 to 2,000 bricks a day is realistic with a decent press and a basic mixer. Raw materials are local and cheap. The rhythm is simple: mix, press, stack, cure, and builders, like predictability more than anything. When I first walked through a small yard that ran just 1 press, pallets were lined up like books on a shelf, each worth real money. No flashy branding, no complicated sales pitch, contractors call, the truckloads, cash cycles. Friday hits, catering orders pile up, and every kitchen asks the same thing: what packs hot food fast and survives the oven? That's where the foil tray press earns its keep. I think of it as metal origami with muscle. A wide roll of aluminum feeds the press, the tool kisses down, and a rigid tray pops out with a smooth curled rim that holds a lid. Die swaps turn one machine into a menu, tart cups in the morning, family-sized lasagna pans after lunch, deep roasters before the weekend rush. Trays nest tightly, so a pallet carries thousands without wasting warehouse space, and cartons go straight to bakeries. The product checks the right boxes: oven-safe, freezer-friendly, and familiar to every line cook. Scrap trim doesn't become a headache. Coils of offcut get baled and sold back into recycling. Production follows the city's eating habits: early for bakeries, midday for takeout, weekend peaks for parties. The first time I saw an oil press running, it felt like watching a quiet coffee roaster for seeds. Warm, nutty aroma in the air, a slow, steady ribbon of gold-filling bottles. The machine works like a heavy-duty juicer. A screw pushes sunflower, sesame, peanut, or even coconut through a tight chamber, squeezing out oil without harsh heat. That gentle press keeps flavor and color alive, which is exactly what customers notice. Labels stick to facts, seed type, pressing method, origin, without health claims that create regulatory headaches. Nothing gets wasted. The leftover cake exits dry and crumbly, good for animal feed, protein flour, or even soap projects if a side hustle is on the table. Shelf life depends on oxidation control, so sealed caps and cool storage are part of the routine. Noise is modest, odor is pleasant, but you still need to use ventilation so the workspace stays comfortable. Rain hits the roof, races through the gutter, and then has to turn the corner. That little turn is the elbow, and this machine makes it from start to finish. I watched one run in a small sheet metal shop. A painted coil of aluminum feeds in. Rollers shape the familiar downspout profile, ribs add stiffness, and a shear makes elbow blanks. Then the forming station stamps neat segments so the piece can curve without wrinkling. A hydraulic bender sets the angle, and a crimping head makes one end male so pieces slide together. Common US sizes roll right through, 2 times 3 inches for houses, 3 times 4 inches for bigger roofs. Changeovers or short swap, a die set, confirm angle, back in production. Contractors burn through these during installs and every storm season. Local supply beats waiting on freight, and consistent angles save time on site. Old tires pile up on one side of town, gyms and playgrounds need tough, quiet floors on the other. This press connects the two. Crumb rubber goes into a mixer with binder and pigment, the blend fills heated molds, and a hydraulic press turns loose granules into solid tiles. Pop them out, cool on racks, stack on pallets. That's the core idea. Waste in, durable surface out. A few practical notes keep things smooth. Ventilation helps with press odor, the right mold release saves time, and consistent mixing keeps color and hardness steady. Buyers mostly want flat, square tiles that hit thickness and impact specs. No hard sell here, just a clear loop that turns scrap into safe, quiet, long-wearing floors. I watched a deli during rush hour and boxes of disposable gloves vanish like napkins. That's when the glove machine made sense. 2 layers of polyethylene film feed through guides. A heated die stamps the glove shape, seals the edges, and a cutter frees the pair over and over in a crisp rhythm. Not a surgical product. This is the everyday hero for food handling, salons, cleaning crews, and sampling counters. Volume makes the model work. Films are inexpensive, colors and thicknesses change easily, and output climbs into tens of thousands per shift. Bundling matters more than branding. Cases go straight to distributors who serve dozens of small stores, or to a few big chains on monthly contracts. Quality checks stay simple. Seal strength, size tolerance, and clean perforations. Cartons stack like bricks, trucks load fast, and reorders arrive before inventory dips. A humble commodity, sure, but when a city eats, cleans, and serves all day, that quiet machine hums like a metronome in the background. Ever notice how a house eats nails by the bucket? I hadn't until I stood next to a nail machine for the first time. A steel wire coil sits on one side, and the machine becomes a tiny factory. Clip, head, point, repeat. It's like watching popcorn, only every pop is a perfect nail. A mid-range unit cranks out 400 to 600 nails a minute. By the end of a shift, boxes stack up fast. What surprised me most wasn't the speed, it was the customers. Carpenters, furniture shops, roofing crews, everyone burns through nails non-stop. Pricing is boring but beautiful. Wire in, nails out, small margins multiplied by volume. Maintenance matters, dies, lubrication, consistent wire, but the process is straightforward once dialed in. I like businesses where the product hides in plain sight. Nails don't get Instagram posts, but nothing stands up without them. Coffee shops burn through cups all day. Boxes disappear faster than beans, and that steady demand is why this machine earns its spot. On one side sits a stack of printed paper blanks. Inside, heat seals the side seam, a round bottom is pressed in, and the rim curls so lids fit clean. A quick leak check, neat stacks slide out, wrapped and counted. That's the whole dance. Common sizes stay simple, 8, 12, 16 ounce for hot, 20, 24 ounce for cold. Once warmed up, output lands around 70 cups a minute. Sleeves of 50, cases of 1,000 keep storage tidy and deliveries easy. Local branding carries the business. Short runs for cafes, food trucks, stadium kiosks, and caterers turn into weekly repeats. Even a few cents per cup adds up fast when thousands head out the door. The footprint fits a small workshop, the sound is a steady hum, and changeovers are quick. Remember all those little wire shapes that quietly hold the world together? S-hooks in warehouses, rings on tarps, sign brackets in shops? A single coil goes in, and this automatic wire bending machine spits them out, ready to use, bent to shape and instantly welded closed when a loop is needed. What sold me was the mix of speed and variety. Mild steel for price, stainless for food or outdoor use, galvanized when rust is the enemy. Diameters run is approximately equal to 12/4 gauge. Simple hooks tick along at 30-60 parts a minute, welded rings a bit slower, but they drop into boxes already closed, no secondary work. The business side is practical. Coils are cheap, parts are small, and orders repeat. A friend runs one compact line and fills weekly cases for 2 local retailers. Margins aren't flashy per piece, but volume adds up fast. Footprint fits a modest workshop, and changeovers are measured in minutes. Load a new coil, call a save program, test a piece. Here's how this line earns its keep in shop. Wire comes in on a coil plain steel for general use, stainless for wet places, galvanized for outdoor jobs. A straightener takes the curl out, a former bends each link, and the machine threads every new link through the last one. A flash weld closes the joint. Specs stay clear and simple. Wire sizes cover most local orders. On small sizes, the head runs dozens to over 100 links per minute, so footage builds fast. The rule is simple: match chain to the job and label working load clearly. A quick proof pull on each batch keeps trust high. By day's end, a coil of wire turns into neat, coiled inventory that walks out the door a few feet at a time. Ever pick up a water bottle and wonder how it gets that perfect shape? I did, until I watched a blow molder run. Preforms look like tiny test tubes. They go into a warm tunnel, soften like chewing gum near a campfire, and then a blast of air stretches them inside a cold mold. In a heartbeat, a full-size bottle snaps into existence. The motion feels like inflating balloons, but with engineering precision. PET for water and juice, sometimes HDPE for milk or detergent. D's change, volumes change, same dance. What I like here is the control. Make bottles as needed, match them to caps and labels, keep transport costs low by producing locally. Waste stays minimal because rejected bottles get ground and reused as flake. Small brands call First Spring water, kombucha, cold-pressed juice, then co-packing jobs show up. I think of this machine as grown-up papier-mâché. Old newspapers, cardboard boxes, scrap paper go into a pulper with water, the slurry meets a mold, and suddenly there's a sturdy egg tray where trash used to be. The steps feel almost domestic: soak, blend, shape, dry, but the output is industrial. A compact line can push past 1,000 trays per hour, and the buyers aren't hard to find. Farms, hatcheries, markets that never stop moving eggs. I visited a small setup that fit inside a modest warehouse. Racks of trays were drying like fresh bread on cooling shelves. Costs behave nicely because the feedstock often arrives free or close to it. The machine doesn't just make packaging, it solves a logistics problem. Eggs need cushioning, stacks need to breathe, and pallets need to travel. I like the loop it closes. Paper gets a second life, farmers get dependable supply, and a simple mold keeps money flowing on a product most people touch every week without noticing. Remember how the box of trash bags always seems to run out the night before trash day? Turns out there's a machine that takes a giant roll of plastic film and turns it into the coreless rolls every kitchen, school, and warehouse depends on. I was surprised how simple it looked. The film gets folded to make those side pleats so the bag fits the can, the bottom gets a tight heat seal, a tiny perforation lets the next bag tear clean, and the roll winds itself neat and tight. Drop, boxed, done. The beautiful part? Demand never stops. A compact 2-lane setup can run a couple hundred bags a minute, and rolls usually go out in packs of 50 or 100. A friend of mine rents a small unit, keeps 3 sizes loaded, and ships pallets to local cleaners and restaurants like clockwork. Even at just a few cents per bag wholesale, volume adds up fast. It's not fussy, but two details matter. Star seal bottoms so liquid can't pool in the corners, and perforations that tear easily without giving two bags at once. Film thickness is the other dial light for kitchens, heavier when cans see glass or debris. The footprint fits a small warehouse, changeovers are quick, and boxes move every week because trash day never takes a holiday.